Bad Bunny is a name that requires no introduction. He has shattered records, filled stadiums, topped charts in languages unfamiliar to many, and has even stepped into a professional wrestling ring, holding his own against seasoned athletes. This alone speaks volumes about who Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio truly is. He's not one to remain idle, play it safe, or shy away from challenges. Therefore, when rumors began circulating that Bad Bunny might return to WWE for WrestleMania 42, the internet didn't just respond, it erupted. Shh! Turn the volume up, but keep it low. This is rap deepest secrets, the one place the labels can't control, exposing the codes, the cover-ups, the real cost of fame. Help us to monetization by subscribing. Now, back to the video. Let us rewind for a second, because some people might not know the full history here, and if you do not understand where he came from in this world, you will not fully appreciate how wild it is that this conversation is even happening. Bad Bunny first got involved with WWE back in 2021, and what most people expected was a celebrity cameo. A quick appearance, maybe a cheap pop from the crowd, shake some hands, take some photos, and leave. That is what celebrities usually do. But Bad Bunny did not read that script. Instead, he trained seriously, worked with the wrestlers, and by the time WrestleMania 37 came around, he delivered a performance that left the entire wrestling community speechless. He took real bumps, he hit real moves, he fought like someone who had been doing this for years, and the crowd went absolutely insane. This was not a celebrity gimmick. This was a man who decided to do something and refused to do it halfway. Then came the 2022 Royal Rumble, and once again he showed up and showed out, and Backlash that same year gave the fans an even bigger glimpse of what he was truly capable of inside that ring. By the time those matches were over, even the most hardcore wrestling fans, the ones who usually hate celebrity involvement with a passion, had to sit back and admit that Bad Bunny was different. He had earned his respect in that ring the hard way, and nobody could take that from him. Now, fast forward to February 2025, and Bad Bunny is standing on the stage at Levi's Stadium during the Super Bowl LX halftime show, performing in front of one of the largest live television audiences on the planet. And this was not just a performance for the sake of entertainment. This man used that platform with intention. He stood up there representing every Latino in the United States, sending a message that was impossible to ignore, pushing back against the political climate surrounding immigration and the policies of the Trump administration, calling out ICE directly and unapologetically. The crowd felt it. The people watching from home felt it. The whole moment carried weight that went far beyond music. It was a statement, and it resonated across the entire country. But here's where the story gets interesting, because while the world was still talking about that halftime show, Logan Paul opened his mouth and said something that set a very specific fire in motion. After watching Bad Bunny own that Super Bowl stage, Logan Paul went on record and said that if the two of them were ever to face each other inside a WWE ring, it would be the biggest match of all time. Now, think about that for a second. Logan Paul is not some random person making noise from the sidelines. He is an active WWE superstar who has main evented premium live events, held a championship, and proven that he belongs in that space. When a man like that looks at Bad Bunny and publicly calls him out, that is not a throwaway comment. That is a challenge. That is a spark. And sparks have a way of starting fires. According to WrestleVotes Radio, WWE officials have already begun talks with Bad Bunny's team about bringing him back for WrestleMania 42. Now, nothing has been confirmed yet, and both sides are still in early negotiations, but the fact that these conversations are even happening is enough to send the fan base into a complete frenzy. WrestleMania is not just WWE's biggest event, it's the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. It's the stage where legends are made and moments are created that people talk about for decades. The company's creative minds are always searching for something that can surprise even the most seasoned fans, something that can generate mainstream attention and pull in viewers who would not normally tune in. Bad Bunny at WrestleMania does exactly that, and everybody knows it. What makes this even more compelling is that Bad Bunny has never fully closed the door on returning. In interviews, in passing comments, in the way he talks about his time in WWE, there's always been this sense that the story is not finished. He genuinely loved the experience, he respected the craft, and the wrestlers respected him back, which in that world is one of the highest forms of validation you can receive. So the question was never really if he would come back. The question was always when and for what. WrestleMania 42 is set to take place in Las Vegas, and if you know anything about that city and what it does to an event, you already understand why this feels like the perfect setting for something massive. Las Vegas is built for spectacle. It's built for drama. It's built for moments that make your jaw drop and your heart race. Putting Bad Bunny in that environment against someone like Logan Paul with the world watching is the kind of idea that practically writes itself. The size of that match on paper is enormous. You have two of the most polarizing figures in entertainment right now, both with massive audiences, both with proven track records of delivering when the lights are brightest, and both with something to prove to the other. That is not just a wrestling match, that is an event within the event. Think about the audiences alone. Bad Bunny brings with him the entire Latin music world, millions of fans who may have never watched a single second of professional wrestling in their lives, but would tune in simply because their artist is competing. Logan Paul brings his own enormous following, the YouTube generation, the social media natives, the people who have watched him box, fight, and evolve into an actual professional athlete. Put those audiences together, and you're talking about numbers that go far beyond what WrestleMania typically pulls. This is the kind of crossover moment that WWE dreams about, and right now, it's sitting right there in front of them like a gift wrapped in a championship belt. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, because the reports also suggest that Bad Bunny's return might not necessarily mean a full match. There's talk that his involvement could come in the form of an appearance or a segment, something that plants a seed rather than delivers the full harvest. WWE's creative team would need time to build a proper story, to give the feud the kind of heat and build-up that makes the eventual payoff feel earned. If they're going to do this right, they can't just announce it and throw it together. They have to let it breathe. They have to let the tension build until the audience is absolutely desperate to see these two men stand across from each other. That's the art of professional wrestling storytelling, and when it's done well, it's one of the most effective forms of entertainment on the planet. You make the people wait. You make them argue about it online. You make them obsess over every little detail, every promo, every social media post. And then when the moment finally arrives, the explosion from the crowd is unlike anywhere else in sports or entertainment. WrestleMania in Las Vegas with Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul, built correctly over weeks or months, could produce one of those moments that defines an era. And here's what people sometimes forget about Bad Bunny in the context of WWE. He doesn't need this. That's what makes it so captivating. This is a man who just headlined the Super Bowl halftime show. He's at the absolute peak of his musical career. He has nothing to gain professionally from stepping back into a wrestling ring except the love of the challenge and the thrill of doing something that most people in his position would never dare to attempt. When someone with that kind of status chooses to show up in your world and compete, it means something different than a regular celebrity appearance. It carries a different kind of energy. The crowd responds to it differently because they can feel that the stakes are real for him. Logan Paul understands this too. He's built his entire post-YouTube career on taking on challenges that were supposed to humble him, and then using those moments to prove people wrong. He boxed professional fighters. He competed in WWE with people who had been in the business their whole lives. And every single time, instead of crumbling under the pressure, he rose to meet it. So when he says a match against Bad Bunny would be the biggest of all time, he's not just hyping it up for clicks. He genuinely believes that this is the collision the world wants to see, and honestly, it's hard to argue with him. There is a version of this story where WrestleMania 42 becomes the backdrop for something truly historic, where two men who have no business being as good at wrestling as they are step into the ring in Las Vegas with the whole world watching, and they put on a performance that shocks everybody all over again, where Bad Bunny proves once more that he is not a novelty act, not a checkbox on a celebrity list, but a genuine competitor who takes the craft seriously, and where Logan Paul, for all his controversy and polarizing energy, gets to be part of a match that transcends the wrestling world entirely.
Nothing is official yet.
No contracts have been signed, no match has been announced, no date has been locked in. But the conversations are happening. The interest is real on both sides, and the stage is being set in a city that was built specifically for nights you will never forget. The whole world is watching and waiting, and if WWE plays this right, WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas could be the moment that Bad Bunny reminds everyone exactly why he is the most dangerous man in any room he walks into. The countdown has already started. The only question left is whether both sides have the guts to make it happen. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.